Are you struggling with jet lag after you've traveled to a different country? In this video, we will look at some of those things that you can do to avoid really bad jet lag after you travel, perhaps internationally. Hi there, my name is Beatrix Schmidt from thesleepdeepmethod.com. As a speaker and sleep coach, I help professionals to really be able to deal with some of these sleep problems and insomnia that can appear in their life sometimes quite suddenly. So if you're looking for practical sleep and insomnia tips and advice, hit the subscribe button below and come back each week when I share more practicalities on how you can improve your sleep, overcome your sleep problems. When it comes to overcoming jet lag, a lot of the times when I work with clients who travel internationally, the key is to really get to understand how your body works within your entire 24 hours. Because when you're able to have those skills in place to get normal sleep, very good quality sleep in your normal time zone, transitioning those and overcoming jet lag becomes a lot easier as well. Following on from last week's video, all about how you can prepare for excessive travel, in today's video we'll look at jet lag itself. Because I know so many professionals who do struggle with jet lag, either when they land in a new time zone and they're having to spend time in that particular time zone, or when they actually return to their normal schedule, but they don't really have the time to enjoy being flexible and resting. They have to generally go back to work pretty much on schedule. So these are the two scenarios that I come across with when I work with clients. So when it comes to jet lag, obviously it's very different when you're traveling west and when you're traveling east. Depending on your actual sleep schedule that you have, it can put different pressures on your body, both physically, mentally, and emotionally as well. So in this video, we'll look at some of those things that you can do to have a better experience with jet lag and potentially even not have a jet lag when you return to your normal time zone. One of the biggest parts of overcoming jet lag is really you being able to support your body in whichever time zone you end up being, whether or not you're traveling to a new time zone, having to adjust to the new time zone, or coming back to your normal routine and having to readjust to your normal routine. Again, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I talk a lot about preparation, because when you can prepare, your body is able to adjust and handle some of those stresses that we experience when we travel long distance. And I remember when I had a trip a couple of years ago, I did a quite long trip when I went from London to New York. I spent a week there. Then from New York, I went all the way to Hawaii, which was again a quite big difference in time zone. And then coming backwards, on the way back, I visited a friend in Canada. And then from Canada, I come back to London. So as you can imagine, within 3 weeks, I went through quite different time zones that required me to actually properly adjust to time zones, because also I spent long enough time in each particular time zone as I was traveling. And it was a great test to some of those things that I now teach my clients, because I had to really properly put them in place for myself as well. So we'll go through some of those things, practical things that I did, and will relate to you as well, so you can prepare and avoid your jet lag or overcome your jet lag much faster. The first thing that I suggest you do to make sure that you don't end up with a really bad jet lag is really looking at how you can help and support your body to create more energy during the day. Because when you're not sleeping so well at night, potentially because of this really a big difference in time zones, how you support your body is going to be a big part of how you go through jet lag itself during the day. So some of those things that I often talk to clients about include really honestly looking at your eating and drinking habits, because your body creates energy from all those things that we consume. Think about not having a late dinner so that your body doesn't go into this sort of stressful period, doing its best to digest all that food you've just eaten. So looking at across the entire day, how can you have maybe smaller meals, which tends to work quite well because your body gets a little bit of an injection of energy because you're eating. But of course, it does mean that if you're not eating healthy anyway, that food that you are digesting might not actually be able to give you the energy. So really looking at how can you fine-tune the way you eat and the kind of things you eat while you're traveling, and traveling to a completely different time zone will help you a lot in overcoming those jet lag type symptoms of tiredness. The last part I wanted to share with you in terms of this jet lag scenario is something different, because I'm sure you have Googled articles about jet lag before, so you will have a better idea of sort of what are the main things that you already tried and tested. Some of them might have worked for you, some of them might not have worked for you. What I wanted to give you is maybe a different way of looking at it. So one of the things that I experienced when I traveled on that long trip, different time zones across a 3-week period, a lot had to do with how I mentally prepared for it. So when I look at mental preparation, is how you mentally prepare in terms of truly understanding the challenges you might have. That could be flight delays, that could be potentially not being able to travel from the airport to your hotel and stressing about it, all the way to maybe not being able to eat properly because you're land in a time zone at a time that you might not be able to get your hand around on food. So a lot of the things that I see when I work with clients who travel internationally is really preparing for those stresses of the trip itself, because the brain and the body is completely capable of being able to adjust if you truly understand what are those stresses that you need to deal with and how you can actually deal with them properly and in a much better way. As you can imagine, this was just a short video on jet lag, but there are so many different scenarios based on what time zone you're traveling to, what your schedule might be, whether or not it's a holiday or work trips. There's so many different scenarios when it comes to jet lag. So if you have a question, a particular question that you want to ask, or if you have a tip that really worked for you, use the comment box below and let me know, because that's the best way that I can actually help you to get the most out of this topic, and making sure that I can help you properly to overcome jet lag, to be able to really readjust to your normal time zone. So I look forward to your comments and any questions that you have that I can particularly answer that comes into your mind. Did you like this video about just an introduction with jet lag? If you did, hit the like button below, subscribe to my channel, and come back next week when we'll go through some of the more practicalities that you can use to overcome sleep problems, overcome insomnia, and really improve the quality of your sleep. So if you can think of a friend or family member who travels a lot into different time zones, feel free to share it to them as well, because they'll be able to help themselves to prepare and overcome their jet lag a little bit better. So thank you so much for watching, and come back next week when we talk about more topics that relate to your sleep as well.